Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is All in the Charts, daily crypto TA live stream. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, click the bell icon for notification. My batteries are rolling across my desk. Click the bell icon for notifications to know when this shit goes live. Hope everyone's enjoying the remainder of their week here. Pretty busy day today at work. I was listening to something right before. Let's actually click here. Here you can see my nice little page here. We're up in the followers on Twitter right now. We're at 124,000 followers on Twitter. No, 12,400, but still much appreciated. I was listening to something on the sports radio as I was sort of trying to get my appetizer ready before dinner. I'm going to have myself a little mini pizza. Of course, it's healthy for the most part. But just listening about remaining humble, about being humble. So the punchline is Jalen Hurts, for those that follow football, Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. He just signed a 5-year deal, mega deal. It's like 255 or 250 million, whatever the details are. But of course, it gets a little more nitty-gritty than that. It's not like he's getting a $250 million check this year. But the long and short is this guy came in, and if you know his story in general and how he conducted himself, I have had, since he has entered the league, I have had the utmost respect for him and how he conducts himself. A very quiet level of confidence. And no matter how much success he has had in the league, his responses to things remain unchanged. He's a very team-oriented individual. And so I think there's a lot to be said for that. And, if there's one thing you can take away from that story, it is no matter the successes that you have in life, remain humble. I was just out here a week ago on my little soapbox here sharing a few things with you, and I held up a Casio watch, and I said, it really reminded me of Mr. T, when he was wearing an old pair of Nike shoes. No matter how successful that guy got, he wore an old pair of Nike shoes to remind him of his roots, where he came from, to really appreciate where he came in life, and to not lose his perspective in terms of his values, right, on life. Same thing with my Casio watch. Same thing with my car. Same thing with this guy that's signed a 2. I'm pointing like he's at my place right here. Jalen Hurts. He's about to come in. Special guest speaker on the Crypto All in the Charts TA live stream. No, but there's a lot to be said for it, and I think just never lose perspective on that. Never lose perspective on that. No matter how strong you are in the gym, no matter how smart you are at work, no matter how successful you are, success is defined in many ways. There's always someone out there smarter than you, faster than you, more gifted than you, more intellectually gifted than you, more gifted than you in other ways. There's always somebody out there that's going to be a notch above you, right? But mentally, you have to conduct yourself in a way that you stay hungry in life. And you don't look at it that way, but you stay hungry in life and you remain humble, all right? So that's all I got on that. That just kind of hit me right before I hit the live stream. So, let's get into some charts as we always do. Should be plenty of time for some TA Q&A today. What I wanted to lead things off and talk about here is I actually wanted to take a look. You can see Bitcoin is down close to 2% today, okay? So I've spent a great deal of time coming out here, and somebody on Twitter, I recently liked his tweet. If you're not following me on Twitter, Crypto Bull God, but basically this individual said in different words what I have already said. You can't expect, if your thesis, which is like mine, if your thesis is similar to mine, that Bitcoin is entering right now its 5th wave in an Elliott wave structure, and we're going to have a blow-off top this year, as most are not expecting. You can't expect Bitcoin to go to 100 and let's just say 120,000, right? You can't expect Bitcoin to go from 30,000 to 120,000 in one big swoop, right? If there's that degree of volatility and rate of appreciation up in the asset, and you're going to get a 4x from here, And in a lot of your alts, you're going to see 10Xs, 30Xs, 50Xs, 100Xs. You can't expect things to, think about this logically, you can't expect that level of rate of appreciation without there being large volatility to the downside as well. We're seeing a healthy correction here. And one of the things that I wanted to point out, so what we're going to get into on this chart are areas of support that you're going to want to watch for. I'll kind of talk about psychologically what's going on in the chart. And I also wanted to discuss on the 12-hour chart why I was waiting. I was sort of waiting for this RSI to get to the 30 level. And we're going to get into that right now. So if we go back in time, okay, one of the things that I have shared with you is that the impulse that we're seeing in the market and the consolidation feels very reminiscent to me of back during the beer virus times, okay? Back in that 2020, entering the 2021 timeframe, right? And if we actually go back in time to that time frame, once prices started to level out, I want you to stare at the RSI with me, if you will, okay? Don't know what happened to the RSI there. Okay. So we had this, once we, let me get my bearings now. Where are we? Here we are. Once we had this V-shaped recovery back in 2020, this is back here in March. Once we started to level out, you can see we saw a dip here in price right around this area here in September where the RSI went below 30. It was at 23, okay? 23, 24, all right? If we go to the present day, okay? If we go to the present day, we've seen a rise in price. We saw a large dip, right? We saw a, how far of a dip was this? We saw a 23% dip, and we saw the RSI go as low as 15, okay? Now, if we come back, if we go back to the future, we get in our DeLorean, and we go back to the future again, after this dip, once we went below 30, you can see the whole trajectory up, from around 10,000 all the way up to 64,000. Just focus on the RSI as we move through time. Look at the RSI and see if it ever goes below this line, which is 30, all right? This line here, that's close enough, 30, all right? Let's move through time. Do you ever see the RSI going below there? No. What you do see is you see the RSI get close to the 30, but once it gets into this 30 range, it starts to recover, right? Now, I'm not telling you that the same thing has to play out in time. As they always say, history does not repeat, but it often likes to rhyme, right? So if there really is bullish momentum picking up in this market, it would not surprise me on the way up, okay, on the way up as we start to continue to build those stair steps up. As we get closer and closer to making a new all-time high, as we begin to correct and you look at the price action on the 12-hour chart, one of the things we really want to watch for is if this roughly 30 level holds. Let's pencil that in here, 30. We'll have to watch that together because it's one of the things I'm going to be watching. I want to see if this 30 level holds because in the past it did once we had resumed price action and ceased consolidating and really started to move up, right? Now, the way the RSI works, I'm not telling you that the RSI has bottomed and price has bottomed. That's not what I'm saying. Theoretically, what could happen is prices could continue to go a little lower. The RSI could continue to bleed down to 34 or 33 or 32. We could actually have a rise up in price that would bring up the RSI to maybe the 50 or 40-ish level, and then we could have another drop down, and the RSI could still stay at the 30 level. So increases in price and then further downside could increase the RSI and decrease the RSI. So I'm not telling you that prices have bottomed, but one thing I would look to, if we're using the past to try to say something similar could be happening, is on the 12-hour chart, watch the RSI and watch to see that it does not go below 30 and see if something similar kind of plays out this time. Now, the other obvious important thing that we need to do as a chartist in evaluating this chart is we need to conclude where there are going to be areas of price confluence that price would like to gravitate towards, right? One of the good things about creating nice structure like this, when you create some stair steps, okay, here's your step up, right? Step ups. The nice thing about that is that versus this, right? This is a parabola. We don't want price to do this right now. Because what have I said in the past? Parabolas are like a tree with no tree branches. If you fall from the top of a tree with no tree branches, you have nothing to grab onto, right? You're pretty much fucked. But if you create stair steps, those are creating branches on the tree such that when you fall, you have something to grab onto. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So what we want to do is we want to see, well, where were there prior areas of resistance that we've now gotten above, which should act as areas of support? And where were there prior areas of support, which should now act as further areas of support? Okay, that's what we want to look for on the 12-hour. So let's do that together. I have not done this ahead of going live, so we're going to do this together. The other thing to keep in mind before I start sketching out these lines, the other important thing to keep in mind is because price action, you guys should know this. And if you're on top of your game, you should wonder why I haven't pointed this out yet. Price action, so long as it maintains itself, okay, candle bodies, above a moving average, the moving average will act as an area of support. When we begin to get candle body closes below a moving average, it's going to act as resistance, okay? So one of the things I will be watching for on the 12-hour chart, the purple 50 simple moving average, what I'll be watching for is once we do find a base here, is this moving average right along here, is this going to cause us how much resistance, what level of resistance is it going to cause us? Are we going to punch right back above it? Or are we going to have a little bit of problems, a little bit of trouble, right? Chances are we're going to have a little bit of trouble. Even if it takes 2 or 3 candlesticks, we'll have a little bit of trouble getting back above the 50, which is normal. But besides that, let's look for areas of confluence. So to me, there looks, oh wow, look at that. Boy, that worked out perfect. Okay, wow. So I have an area right around there, and that's at 28,200, okay? So funny enough, as I drew this out, this candle body is sitting at right at 28,200. So 28,200 is an area of price confluence. What's another area of price confluence on this 12-hour chart? I would say right around, oh, again, we try not to get too cute on this channel. I might draw it there, and I like to round these numbers because, again, if you're so precise with a number, it implies how do I want to put this? If you're I actually just did this at work today. I was providing an estimate on something, and the value was $5,600, but it was based on a really high-level estimate of putting different metrics together, and I said 6,000. All right, just to keep it stupid simple. So it implies a false sense. When you're so specific with the value, it implies a false sense of precision that is not there. Does that make sense? So there's a level of volatility here, whether it's 27,520 or 27,537.23, all right? It's 27,500. That's the next area I would watch for. What's another area? And let's talk about how I'm coming up with these areas of price confluence. I would draw it actually all the way down there because there's a wick here. You see this wick? You see how price, let's get off of here. You see how price wicked all the way up here and couldn't get above it, okay? And it went all the way up to 26,533, couldn't get above it. You can see there's a wick down here and a wick just basically right around there. So these are the first 3 main areas I want you guys to focus on, okay? We're gonna make them nice, round, easy figures. Thank you for everyone new tuning in. Appreciate the thumbs up, and I appreciate the support on the channel, doing this every single day to kind of, just to let you know what I'm looking at, okay? And what I also think would be value added for you to look at. These are the areas of price confluence that you want to see if they hold as initial support, okay? It's not the be all end all. There are other areas, there are clearly other areas of support down here, the 200 simple moving average as an example. But these are the first 3 areas. Let's see how price holds. I'm gonna be here every single weekday, right? So we can update this as we go. But let's see how price holds around 28,200, 27,500, and 26,500. Let's see how price holds up there. But yes, the last thing before we get off this chart, the last thing I would point out on the 12-hour, if you've been here for a little while, you know I've pointed this out multiple times. There are certain key points in this market that I will continue to repeat because I feel it's very important that it is ingrained in your head and you never lose sight of these things, okay? No one else that I know of talks about the Bitcoin 12-hour chart, okay? One of the things that you will find, okay, when we are in a major bullish uptrend, when we're having significant rises in price to the upside, once we get a golden cross on the 12-hour and both moving averages, both the 250 are moving up as they are right now, price at different points does like to sometimes come all the way down to the 200. And even if we get a candle body close that goes a little underneath, the main point that I want you to keep in mind is that you can use the 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour as an indicator, as a plot on this chart to indicate a little bit of a range where you can expect price to gravitate to, but not deviate from significantly, okay? So as this 200 continues to rise up in price, we may get candlestick action that comes all the way down here and likes to do this, but eventually continues moving up, all right? Sometimes the 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour acts as a magnet to bring price down to it, but then the price eventually propels itself away from it, okay? So watch the 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour as well to act as a major area of support. If this is a true bullish uptrend to the upside, and we're going to see new all-time highs this year, as I am suspecting we will, and I continue to talk about, what you should not see is when we come down here, a strong deviation from the 200 and we start to get lower lows and lower highs. That would not be indicative of a strong bullish trend reversal to the upside using history as an indicator to tell us such. Okay, so the 12-hour is a very critical chart I would keep an eye on for those points. This is the other thing. I don't want you to lose sight of this. Now, we'll have to see. Typically, the weekend price action is really not very newsworthy. The last time, well, there's been a couple weekends. I remember in 2019 when we started really shooting up in price. I remember there being a Saturday where I think price went from 5 to 7,000 or something like that. I remember there being a Saturday where Bitcoin was in the 30s. When we were creating those new all-time highs, and it did pretty well over the weekend. But typically weekends are lower volume days. There's not a lot of price action for the most part. So anyway, I don't know what sort of price action we're going to get this weekend. We'll have to see how Friday's the main day tomorrow. We want to see how price action looks tomorrow. But again, I've pointed to this green zone and the importance of it. I really don't want to see this weekly candlestick close below 28,800. So what happens why do I say that? Why is that such an important thing? Well, this has been an area of resistance before. It's been an area of price confluence. Now that we're below it, it was an area of resistance. We're in it so long as we don't get a candle body close below it. I don't care about the price wicks, their volatility. But so long as the candle body closes stay within this 32,000 to 28,800 range, this is going to be a green level of support. If we get a candle body close outside of 28,800, it doesn't lead to a certainty. There's no certainties in charting, but it increases the probability. Then we start to come down into these areas. And I don't want to come down there right now. I don't want to come down there, quite frankly, at all, to be honest with you, with a candle body close. Not because it destroys the trend, not because it does anything to harm the prospects of the bullish narrative. But if we start coming down here, and hanging out down here a little bit, it increases the likelihood that I could be incorrect and we're not going to get a blow off top this year, right? I really want to maintain price action in this area. And then, like I said, by the end of May, I really want to get up somewhere into this area, because now what we're doing, if you start to, we're running out of time this year, right? At some point, I mean, you're creating stair steps, right? And then at some point, you enter a euphoric stage. Things are not going to get really euphoric, okay? Your altcoins are not going to run super hard until Bitcoin clears its all-time high. Once Bitcoin starts to clear its all-time high, that is when things are really, really going to pick up quickly. But for now, yeah, I really don't want to spend a couple weeks kind of hanging out down here for the next month, because we'd have to have a monumental rise in price to start getting back up here. So again, coming down here does not change anything about higher lows and higher highs. Okay, it doesn't change anything about that. But I am in the camp that believes that Bitcoin is going to set a new all-time high this year, and for that to succeed, I want to see price maintain itself in this region that I have plotted. So we'll have to see how the week closes. Doge, the only other thing I wanted to point out on this, again, I kind of commented on something. Credible Crypto put something out on Doge, and I had commented. I just charted this. I don't see the 5-cent area as likely. It's certainly a possibility. I commented on this yesterday. I don't view it as likely. My region that I have as a more likely outcome would be if we do wick down to be somewhere between 6.3 and 6.6 cents. But I also wanted to point to the fact that there's this uptrend. I didn't point this out yesterday, but there's a little bit of an uptrend in here. So yeah, price is definitely coiled inside of here. And again, to his point, if you haven't seen his video, check it out. He posted a video that I watched earlier today. He's a great technical analyst, and I respect his opinions very much. That's why I follow him and why I interact with him. It would not, to his point, it's certainly a possibility you could get some level of volatility where you get some wick and a sharp recovery back up. Doge could go all the way down to 5.4 cents and shoot back all the way up to 7 cents. That's not out of the realm of possibility. Again, when you've been people, and he made this point in his video, and it's very true, and I've said the same thing again in different words, people really fail to either recognize or remember or recall just how small the space is. This space is very small. If we go to CoinMarketCap real quick, okay? If we go to CoinMarketCap, how big is this space? $1.19 trillion, okay? Apple's, I just subscribed to ChatGPT over the weekend, and I was asking it all sorts of questions. One of them was, what is Apple's current market capitalization? For some reason, it only goes back to September of some year. I don't know why. But anyway, Apple's market capitalization is bigger than that, okay? Apple's market capitalization, someone spot check me here and drop a comment. Somebody, spot check, help me out here. I'm going to say it's right around 2 trillion, and it might be over 2 trillion, but it's right around 2 trillion. Maybe it's just under 2 trillion because there's been a little bit of a correction since the, no, I would say it's right around 2 trillion, probably 2.2, 2.4 trillion. Somebody spot check me on that. What is Apple's market capitalization? The point is, it's roughly twice of all of crypto, every single token that exists, okay? It doesn't take a lot of money to move this market, all right? So people really forget just how small some of these assets are. I mean, Doge is only $11 billion, okay, 11.6 billion. All right, it's really not that big. So when you consider other pockets of wealth that exist in the world. Let me see, what other charts do I want to look at? I wanted to leave plenty of time for Q&A, so start dropping any charts that you want me to take a look at. Feel free to drop into the comment box, and I can chart them with you. We can take a look at whatever token you'd like me to take a look at. I was taking a look at this token today. Ooh, UMA's up. Look at that. I've been waiting for a pop in that forever. I've been tweeting about UMA for this is one of these trades. This is one of these short-term trades that's turned into a couple months longer than I anticipated, right? Threw some money in there. Based on the charts, thing hasn't retraced to its 0.382. Let's take a quick look at it. I keep pointing up to that mainly $4 to $5 range, waiting for it. Really, I pointed to the similarity in band protocol. It just hasn't worked out yet, but I remain patient. So, yeah, I'm really targeting this range here. So we're starting to see a little bit of a pop here in this. This was down today at one point. It was kind of flat. Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know. My spider senses are tingling. We'll have to wait and see. But my main area is between 450 and 540. But I mean, this thing, depending how volatile it gets, you could hit anywhere. I think up in here between 450 and 850. So keep an eye on UMA. We'll keep that open. See if anything changes there. All right. So this token here. The reason I have this one charted. This is ticker symbol. What the hell ticker symbol is it? DYP. Someone brought this up on another YouTube channel, and I decided to look into it. It's a very low market capitalization project. Let's look it up together and take a look at it so you can appreciate what I'm saying. It's ranked like 700. Is it ranked 700 or even lower? No, 926, all right? Look at the market cap on this thing. It's only 6 million? Okay. It's very small, all right? I don't know anything with the project. I just looked at the chart, and personally, again, on this channel, I never offer financial advice. I'm just telling you what I see in the chart, okay? I personally like the chart setup here. I'd like to get in a little lower on price where it's currently at. I'm not a buyer here. But let me make this point perfectly clear. If I decide to take a position in this project, it's a swing trade position, and it would be a very, very small percentage of my portfolio, okay? Doing some number crunching in my head, if I threw any money at this would probably be, you can't see my calculator. I don't want you to see my net worth in crypto here, but yeah, it would represent like 1/3 of 1%, okay? So I'm not putting a whole lot in here. 1/3 of 1%. That's 0.3% for those who are not great at math, all right? So we're talking about a small percentage, but the point is this thing is right now we had a meteoric rise in price, and now we're just sort of consolidating in here. When this thing breaks, this has the potential to really make a move. You could be talking about a move when this thing breaks up. We break up from current levels, and maybe we hit resistance levels up here. You're talking about like a 4x. So yeah, so it's something for me that I'm taking a look at, but I might want to, or not might want to, I'm going to wait to see if price kind of pulls back to some lower levels here, maybe around 23 cents. Where are we sitting right now? We're sitting at 25, so maybe like a 10% pullback. But when you're throwing such a small amount of money in it, I mean, hell, maybe I'll just put it in here because, again, it's 1/3% of my portfolio. So thank you for everyone new tuning and appreciate the thumbs up. Started streaming a little early today at 5:15 Eastern Standard Time. Got on a little late. Thank you for the spot check, Ricky. I appreciate it. Apple's market cap is 2.64. That validates that Apple's market capitalization is more than 2 times the entire cryptocurrency market cap. I'm not good with math. They pay me to do actuarial science. 1.19 times 2 is 2.38, which is less than 2.64. I did not fail grade school math. So Apple's market cap is greater than the entire cryptocurrency market cap. That's insane to me. That's absolutely insanity. So I'm sure you guys that are passionate about certain projects could name me off a project that should rival, just that one single project should rival the market capitalization of Apple, right? But the entire market is even worth Apple. So just put it in perspective. Kevin, you'd like me to check out DOT. I would be happy to chart DOT. And UMA's back down to 2%. Nice work. Oh, no, wait. This isn't updated. Maybe it is. Well, we're still waiting for that UMA pump. It'll pump someday. It'll pump someday. Till then, I remain convicted and patient. Then before I take a look at DOT with you guys, somebody also tweeted something out today I wanted to comment on. I'll probably comment back to this individual just so he gets the point of what I was trying to say. be very careful about the word choices that you use with other people. I try to do the same thing, but taking a volatile asset, like a real volatile asset, and saying this thing is like due to pump in like 5 days, that's a real dangerous game that you're playing. You're literally projecting out such a short duration of time for such a large volatile asset and saying it's going to pump in the next 5 days. I think a better way to tweak that statement is the chart is setting up very favorable for a potential large pump to the upside possibly in the short-term future, in the near-term future, right? I think that's a better way. That's all I was trying to say when I tweeted back to that person. I wasn't trying to troll him. Let's take a look at DOT, and then I'll get to additional comments here. Guys, give me any chart you want, and we'll take a look at it. This is on a 3-day chart. There's enough price action here. Maybe we can consolidate this down to a week. DOT's been relatively boring. Not a lot going on. Let's get the MACD up here. A little bit of bullish divergence maybe. RSI is picking up. I wouldn't call it bullish divergence. RSI is picking up. We'll talk about that. All right, this is DOT on the weekly. You can see the MACD is wanting to... And any of these charts, guys, because there was such a massive sell-off back in 2022 in particular, on all of these charts, what the MACD... Okay, it's a indicator for momentum. All right, because there was such a swift move to the downside. And you see how it killed the MACD. The MACD really has to work its way back up to get above zero. Zero is that trigger line, right? You want the blue above the orange, and you want it to be above zero. Okay. One of the key things that you want to watch for on a higher time frame chart on any crypto asset that you're looking at. All right. Fun fact. You want to watch for that MACD to get over zero. Once the MACD gets over zero and it's positive, it's not like prices are going to necessarily explode. That's not what I'm saying. But once this starts getting above zero, that's when things will get spicy. All right. I prefer spicy than non-spicy. All right. You need a little sizzle in your life. All right. Got to keep things interesting. You don't want to be too boring. If you're boring, nobody likes that shit. So things will get spicy once the MACD crosses zero. So that's one of the things I'm looking at. The other thing I was kind of commenting on with this RSI, let's really quick take a look at the RSI. Okay, this is what I was pointing out. You see how there's a little bit, not a lot, okay? Not a lot. But there's a little bit of RSI increasing here as the price is sort of just doing one of these things, okay? It's sort of just going chippy chop, but the relative strength is increasing. What that tells me is even though price is going sideways, there is strength building within the chart, okay? There's some buyer demand, some perhaps pent up buyer demand that is building in the chart. It's perhaps like a Saiyan who is about to go Super Saiyan, all right? Perhaps. So it's like that. So that is bullish to see. Now, price is king, right? Let's take a look at the price and see what it is that I would be looking at. First off, I don't think there's enough price data to incorporate the 200. No, there's not. Okay, so we've already talked about the 20 and the 50. The 20, we need to see the 20 moving average cross above the 50. It looks like we might see that at some point shortly. That is good to see. We're sort of crunched in between both moving averages. The other thing, there is a downward area of resistance. You can very clearly see that right here. We have a touch, 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 touchy touch, touch, touch. We also have, I think that's too sharp of an incline. I'm not even going to draw that. I'm just going to draw areas of support that I really want to see hold first. Okay. There is a very clear area right around $5. We're going to say in 80 cents. This region right around 580 is a clear area. I would say anything between, I'll draw you a little range, all right? 560 to 580. So what do I want to see hold as support on DOT, ticker symbol DOT? If you can't spell DOT, feel free to drop off the channel. You need to go back to elementary school. There's a region right between 580 and 560. We need to see that hold, okay? In terms of areas of resistance, I think you guys could chart this one out. Isn't this one really straightforward? I mean, I love when you guys give me a chart and it is as clean as something like this, because it makes my job a lot easier. Although I do appreciate a challenge, so you can give me some challenging. I've had some challenging charts that you guys have presented to me before, more challenging, but this one is relatively easy. We're going to call that 7 cents. Everything is 80 cents, but this is actually 70 cents. I was going to say is, there's a wick there. I mean, I don't want to get too crazy with drawing too many lines. So what I would do is, what's the top here? We're at about, geez, I'll tell you what, whether it's 70 cents or 80 cents, it's one or the other. So this is what I'm looking at. I'm sorry, who asked this question again? Doc. Kevin. Oh, Kevin. What's up, my brother? Kevin, what I would look for, okay, if I was in this thing, first off, hold this. Hold this as support, okay? 580 to 560. If we come down to 580 to 560, in my opinion, that would be an opportune time to scale into more or to establish a position, okay? You could put sort of like a fishing order in, maybe a little lower, down towards the low $5 range. You see this wick here? Let's just draw it right there. If I had a fishing order in, it'd be right around 520. But I think we're splitting hairs here. Whether you get in at 520, 560, or 580, I think it's a great buy opportunity. Okay, we have descending resistance. Let's clear the descending resistance. The descending resistance on the weekly sort of coincides with this 680 area. So I think it's all about initially clearing 680 and descending resistance. Once we do that, what is next? Well, 770. Let's clear 770. So we want to ideally, what you'd want to see from price, okay, to feel bullish on this thing, let's have some sort of recovery here. Bounce up, break the descending resistance. Maybe we hit here. We back test. Descending resistance as what? Support, as we commonly do. And now we want to break 770, and we want to start entertaining 970, okay, and get into this range. Now, of course, when we start talking about 970, what else is in that range? The psychological level of $10, right? So 970 to 10 bucks, all right? Keep that in mind. I hope that you found that helpful. All right, what else we got? I'm sorry, Kevin, I have to correct you. Kevin made a mistake in the comments. I will forgive you this one time, okay? This one time. But never allow this to happen again, okay? Kevin said he is ready to leave his job if his coins pump hard. Kevin, the correction to your statement is you are ready to leave your job when your coins pump hard. Of course, I don't know what you're holding. I mean, if you're holding garbage, then your coins, but knowing you, you're a very smart individual. And I know you at least own Harmony One, so you're going to be all right. But the correction there would be, you're welcome, Kevin. There's two Kevins. Kevin Bolin, you're welcome. The correction there, Kevin, would be, Kevin 1, would be when your portfolio pumps. You have to, the thing is, part of success, and I really have believed this the older I've gotten and the more successes that have amounted in my life, you have to manifest it. And it sounds corny. You have to believe in it. You have to think it. Now, you can't just say, I hope this happens, and I wish this happens, and I'm going to dream about it. No, you have to have a plan in place. You got to work hard. You have to be dedicated. You got to be persistent. You really have to want to own it. You got to thirst for it, hunger for it. It's in many ways, it's all you think about. You know, it's your dream, it's your goal. So you're working hard towards it, but you've got to manifest it. You got to think about it. You can't allow negative thoughts to enter your mind, because if you start to think about a lot of negative thoughts, that shit will play out. All right. So I want positivity when it happens. You're damn right. All right. What else we got here? What's up, YC? I always enjoy when YC comes into the live stream because he always says, yo, CBG or something along those lines. I appreciate the enthusiasm. What's up, my brother? You were talking about the dude who talked about DG. Oh, no, wait. Oh, I thought you meant you were the guy that talked about DGB. Oh, I was gonna say, well, I'll be honest with you, but yeah. You saw my response to him, and it was not me trolling him or being disrespectful. It was me, and I'm gonna reply back to clarify, but it's me just sharing with him, hey, be cautious about the word choices you use, because to say something's gonna pump in 5 days, it's a pretty volatile market. That's a pretty lofty statement. I don't know what models you're looking at to say 5 days. It's better to just say, hey, I feel like this has a solid likelihood of occurring in the short term. Hey, I think that's a better statement. It's more accurately represented, right? So fairly represented based on the level of deviation and margin of error within that, right? So, yeah, I mean, so what I would say is, so YC is saying you can't predict time with price, right? I think the only caveat with that is, I think it's one thing to say, oh, hey, I think based on the charts I've looked at and what I've shared with you guys, my thesis is Bitcoin is topping towards the end of this year. That's a pretty large margin of error, right? It could top in September, October, November, December, right? So I'm giving some sort of time estimate, but I'm not saying Bitcoin is going to top by July 15th, okay? That's a lot different, all right? If you're following people, you follow whoever the hell you want to follow. You subscribe on YouTube to whoever you want to subscribe to. One of my favorite sayings came from a professor in college. I've got to use this. I want to do a new intro video for my YouTube channel that introduces people to the channel. And one of my favorite sayings that I've never let go of, and I've brought up from time to time, is prescriptions for wishful thinking. People love prescriptions for wishful thinking. They want to turn their life around and get in shape, and they want to do that by exercising for 15 minutes 3 days a week. People want to get rich in crypto, and the way they're going to do that is they're going to watch YouTube videos and be on Twitter and just throw money randomly at shitcoins, right? Prescriptions for wishful thinking, right? It's one of my favorite sayings. So anyway, I could go on a tangent. Thank you for everyone new tuning in. Appreciate the thumbs up for support. If you appreciate the content, I try to keep the channel somewhat unique, right? I'm a somewhat unique personality. So people love me at work. We're going to get into a couple. I see another charting question here. That's great. So VChain, thank you for who is this? Ricky, thank you for the question. So we're going to get into VChain. So I was at a meeting earlier this week, and it was just like a team touch base sort of meeting. It was kind of early in the morning. Thank God I'm not Central Standard Time. It was 8:30 their time, 9:30 my time. 8:30 would not work for me. I'm doing squats, deadlifts, or something at 8:30 in the morning. But anyway, everyone's going around the room, and I appreciate it. I work with good people. Like, they're good. Like, I genuinely enjoy who I work with. I have a really good boss, really funny guy. But we're going around the room, and we only have 2 minutes, and so his tidbit to us was, spend about 60 seconds. If there's anything fun going on in your personal life, share it, and then tell us about 60 seconds something going on at work interesting, right? So, like, people going around the room, and I'm not married, okay? So a lot of these people are married, they got kids and stuff, and like, oh, my baby put on their seatbelt for the first time, or like, it's cold up in the north, it has been, in Minnesota. Oh, we brought out the bicycles they got for Christmas, and my daughter was riding her bike around the block for the first time, and I'm standing there, because in any meetings I always stand. I have a standing desk. I don't like to sit, so I'm standing there, and I'm like, Christ, I'm like, what am I going to say that's going to, like, all these people are going around the room, they're talking about their kids. I don't have kids. Like, it would be cool if I had a kid. I wish I could talk about that stuff. That'd be awesome. Like, if I had a kid, I would be fucking gloating about my kid all the time. Be like, my daughter, you should see her the other day, or my son. Like, I would be all about that, right? But I got nothing. So you know what? They came to me, and I was honest. I was like, well, big thing going on in my life right now. I deloaded today on leg day. I got a big day coming up on Saturday, going heavy on deadlifts. Probably going to try for about 425, 445 on deads. So that's what I'm going for. And the room was like silent. Everyone was like, oh, okay. Nobody fucking knew what to say. Like, where did that come from? So I like to keep things real. I like to be myself. So that is who I am. Got a question on VeChain. All right, VeChain. So we did look at this one before. You can see this is what we drew out before. So let's kind of talk about, this is on a weekly. So let's speak to what has progressed within the chart. Well, right now, with the rest of the market, it looks like we've bottomed, right? We've bottomed here at approximately 15.6 cents. We've had this initial descending line of resistance. We've broken out from it, okay? Look what it did, okay? Guys, you're going to find there's so much commonality in what I say amongst charts. What did we do in this chart? When we broke out, what did we do? I've said this to you so many times. If you're waiting to get into an entry and you're waiting for bullish confirmation, we broke, okay? Be patient here. This is a weekly candle. This, scribbling all over the place. This right here is a weekly candle, okay? This here. Once we broke out, stay patient. Because what did we ultimately do? We came down and we back tested the descending area of resistance. In fact, not all charts work this well. I haven't modified this chart. This wick perfectly touched 19.6 cents. I mean, or 1.96 cents, okay? We perfectly came down, touched the descending line of what was once resistance. It is now support. We have another area of price confluence at 1.96 cents. We came down and touched it perfectly. For people that don't think charting works because they're not mathematically inclined, because they don't take the time to challenge their line of thinking to see things differently, I present to you this chart. How many times have we taken a look at something like this? We've broken out from that. We've back tested it now a second time, this 1.96 cents. And ever since then, what has the price action been doing? It's just consolidating. That's all we're doing. We're just consolidating. Let's take a look at the price indicators. Let's see what updates we can get to see if momentum is building in the price. Nothing on the weekly. MACD again, we want to get above the 0 trigger line, all right? Anything on the 3-day, any bullish divergence or anything? Nah, not really. How about even the daily? Nope. All right, so just focusing on the weekly, this is very close to getting above the 0 trigger line on ticker symbol VET VeChain, all right? What other areas of resistance could we take a look at? All right? Well, there is obviously 3.4 cents here. Okay, that is a clear area of resistance. I could draw a range here. You know, we don't like to get pretty. We like to, you can see there's really a range, okay? Because there aren't specific price points on these things. I mean, you really got to have to keep a range. This is really we're going to call this 3.3 cents, okay? So right now, this story on VeChain is, wow, that didn't work out well. Hold on. I guess I meant to say 3.2 cents. I mean, it's a tenth of a cent. Whatever. We're going to say 3.2 because I don't want to I don't want to get too cute with the lines. But basically, if I had to create a story here, because I always like to create a story when I'm looking at these charts, okay? We're consolidating, okay? We're consolidating and we broke out at descending resistance. I need to see us break, okay? I need to see us break 3.2. We're going to call it to 3.4 cents. Let's get up into this region, which is between 4.4 and 3.4. Once we get up here, now this is the interesting thing. Once we start breaking 4.4, there's a blue, look at this major descending area of resistance here. Here, it's not drawn perfectly. Whatever, you get the point. I mean, it doesn't need to be perfect. You can see resistance, resistance, and now we're going to face resistance at some point. So that's another area that we're going to want to watch for, descending resistance, and then also the 6.6 and 7 cent area, okay? So really, if I had to draw a path of what one could expect, thank you for everyone new tuning in. Make sure to give a little support for the guy that works a full-time job and still live streams every single motherfucking weekday. Show a little support. So what I would imagine is a little bit of resistance here. We break it. Now we have really further resistance all in this area. There's really two areas of price confluence. We come up, maybe we back test, we break this, we form it as support, and then we continue on up. Ignore the time frames, okay? Ignore that. I'm not saying this is when we're going to be there, but this is generally what you could expect based on the price action, okay? That's generally what you could expect. You could move this whole thing over and say it could happen like right around there. I'm not, don't pay attention to the time frames. Pay attention to areas of price confluence, and I'm trying to paint a picture in terms of how price will interact with those areas of price confluence. I hope that you found that helpful. Was that Ricky? Yeah, Ricky, a good question. Thank you for asking me to chart this one out because we haven't looked at VChain in a long time. Alex, sorry, just popped on the stream. Do you think BTC and ETH are still bullish? I'm really scared. Kevin, okay, I'm going to go to the gym and lift all the weights. Fuck yeah. Alex, kind sir. All right, actually, I'm not going to be a dick about this. I'm going to keep this real, and I'm not going to be a dick. I promise you. I promise you. So first off, Alex, I appreciate that you're tuning into the channel, and I'm going to guess that you're newer. You're newer to the market, right? And some of this is what I have to remind myself is I have to take a step back and I have to recognize, in all seriousness, I've been in this market for relatively a long period of time, okay? And there's a lot of people who are new getting into the market that just are not accustomed to this. So one thing that would be helpful, Alex, if you don't mind sharing, is, as I'm explaining to you to answer your question, because I'm going to answer your question, how long have you been financially invested in the market? I don't want to know what you're holding. That's no one's business. You shouldn't tell people what you're invested in or what percentage of your portfolio is in what. That's your own business, okay? All I want to know is how long it has been since you put your first $1 fiat bill into the crypto space. Because the reason I ask the question is because if you feel scared, if you're being serious with that statement, that tells me you haven't been here for a long time. This price action, it's 1.5 years, really. You've been here for 1.5 years, really. So 1.5 years. So you've been here since, okay, so you've been here since late 2021. Huh. And I'm surprised well, then again, you didn't get to experience the beer virus fear and the V-shaped recovery. You didn't experience 2018 and 19. Okay, let me share with you. Well, what I would do is I would rewind. This is very important. Once you drop off live, please go back to the beginning of the live stream. And for the first, I would say a good 10 to 15 minutes, we looked at this chart. I explained a lot of things, and this chart, all on Bitcoin, and I spoke to a lot of things. It would benefit you to watch that. But what I would say to you is this. I would echo something that I've shared at the top of the channel, and this will benefit anyone new tuning in, okay? You cannot expect assets to have a meteoric rise in price, as I suspect they will this year, without sharp, because those are sharp movements to the upside, right? Sharp movements to the upside. So if that's happening, right, on this chart, this is Bitcoin, right? You can't expect, right? I can't say this enough. You can't expect, this is 2024, right? Now, my general premise is that Bitcoin, think about this for a second. Bitcoin's going to get somewhere up in this neighborhood. I just put this line up here, right? So if I'm correct in my assertion, okay, that Bitcoin's going to get all the way up here to like 120,000, we're just going to pick that point, right? It's not going to go like this, right? It's more so going to look like this. right? There, and the point of me illustrating this, okay, is that you can see there are huge moves up, right? This is a huge move up from here, right? But then you see another huge move up, but we have also sharp movements down. We have to decrease in value, right, to get up. It's just not a straight line. What I'm trying to tell you is it's not a linear line. It's not some linear price movement. This is a risky asset class, okay? And with risk comes a higher likelihood of greater appreciation in your portfolio performance, massive performance into your portfolio performance. I've seen it firsthand. And I've also seen this firsthand. What also comes with that is the flip side. There's also a greater risk of mass losses to your portfolio. So the challenging thing in this environment is people get emotional about their investments. They don't know what they're invested in. They don't know how to read a chart. And they don't know, oh man, I don't know how else to put it. Like they don't have a thesis in place. They don't have a hypothesis. They aren't grounded in some sort of educated view on this. And so because of that, they're sort of flying. Like it's one thing to be flying with armor and the right stuff to know your course of direction and you're flying. Man, I'm going off on a tangent here. And it's another to sort of let the wind guide you because you don't know what direction you're going, right? This is just a correction, Alex. Nothing to be fearful of. Again, I don't know with certainty anything. I'm just giving you my educated view. And go to the top of the stream, like I said. But your question is, are they still bullish? Absolutely. Alex, look at Ethereum. Oh my God. Like, what has changed? You're basing your fear. This is important for everyone to listen to. Alex is not alone. He is not the only person that feels this way, okay? He is basing his fear on this drop, okay? This drop. Go back in time. Go back in time. When we were here, okay, and the beer virus happened, look at this drop. We were all the way at like almost 500, and we dropped all the way down to 300. We had a 37% drop in Ethereum. Let's see what followed. Jesus Christ, if you would have feared out of your investment, you missed a ride all the way up to over $4,000. Okay? No one can, by the way, no one can call a perfect top or bottom in the market. That's not what I'm claiming to say here. But it's just getting feared out at the wrong time. We are literally just beginning an impulse to the upside. Okay? This is par for the course. This is a correction. Look at the weekly and zoom out. We have broken this falling wedge. We've broken out of downward resistance. We've back tested it. And now we are literally just hovering in this space, waiting to make a move up into these areas up towards $3,000. Yes, I am very mega bullish, Alex. Nothing to be worried or stressed about or afraid. Absolutely not. Nothing has fundamentally changed in these charts. What else we got? No idea, Kevin. I mean, Kevin Bolin, no idea what caused a massive spike in Bolin. It's just bot activity, algorithms within those trading bots. No idea. It's seen a spike in volatility. It's probably back down to where it was at like $2 or $1.98 or something. Yeah, 203. Yeah, nothing special. We'll say did pick me up quite a bit of Synapse. I picked it up at 87 cents, 85 cents, 82 cents. I just kept scaling in. Yeah, I viewed that as a great opportunity. What else we got? I'll take one more charting question. We're running way over as we have the past couple days. But what the fuck? If we want to see alts move up, should we expect BTC mainly to be steady at the very least? Oh, Ricky, this is another good question. I'm going to answer this question, and then I'm tapping out. Well, I never tap out. Well, actually, that's a bad saying. I never tap out. I'm going to answer this question, and then I'm going to say meeting adjourned, and then I'm going to come back with you tomorrow live, make myself a little pizza here, and a little pizza. And then what the hell am I having? Oh, I'm having a salad, chicken salad. I'm just making something real basic for dinner. Okay, so Ricky is asking a very good question here. He says, if we want to see alts move up, should we expect BTC mainly to be steady at the very least? Plus, naturally, ETH shooting up. Thanks for your knowledge sharing, CBG. Angry 8, never financial advice, but you saw my tweets today. If you follow me on Twitter, my position increased pretty significantly in Synapse, so I'll just leave it at that. So this is what I would say. The first thing is, if again, I'm using history to indicate to us what is most likely. Okay, that's what I in general do, right? Whether I'm using, we're talking about specific prices on charts or whatever the case is, but here we're talking about general philosophy within the market. Typically, what likes to happen is once Bitcoin first off exceeds its prior all-time high, which in this case was technically at 69,000. Okay, technically it's at 69,000, although the wave 3 really topped at 62 or 64 or whatever. I think it was 64. Whatever the case is, once Bitcoin starts punching up to like 70,000, that's when what you're going to see is you're going to see at some point along the way, as Bitcoin is going up, you'll see some alts run, and you'll face some waves of consolidation in there where Bitcoin is consolidating at 75 or 80,000. And you're going to see your altcoins really start to run up. That's when you're really going to start to see some massive runs up. But that is not to say that if Bitcoin is consolidating in this region, or even if it moves up in here, makes a big move and it's consolidating in here, that's not to say as that consolidation is going on, both new money but rotational money that's in Bitcoin won't go into the altcoins. That's not to say that, right? The altcoins, like if you look at Harmony 1, Harmony 1's not going to sit at 2 cents and then jump up to 70 cents in 3 weeks, okay? Harmony needs to have some level of movement that's shooting it up in value to 5 cents and then maybe getting up to 10 or 12 cents. And maybe once it's at 10 or 12 cents, then maybe once Bitcoin breaks its all-time high, that's when Harmony 1 can really start fucking moving, and then it can entertain levels up towards 40, 50, 60 cents, okay? That's really based on prior cycles and times when Bitcoin has, I hate to use the word cycle because people will misinterpret that, based on prior times when Bitcoin has gone on a run where it has exceeded its all-time high, that's typically what has played out. So I hope that helps to answer your question, Ricky. It was a little wordy, as I typically am, but I hope it helps to answer your question. Yes, I will have to think about how I want to close out the week tomorrow. We'll have to see, where's the market at right now? Bitcoin's down 1.7. My gut, now again, I was suspecting today we were going to get a larger bounce to the upside than we did. I was incorrect in that thought process. I would be shocked. No, I wouldn't want to say shocked. That's too hard of a word. I would be a little surprised if tomorrow we saw red in the market again. I'd be a little surprised by that. I would think tomorrow, even if it's somewhat of a small relief, even if it's small, even if you see your altcoins up 2% or 3%, I'd be surprised if tomorrow isn't a green day. Be surprised. So hopefully there's a little bit more calmness in the market. For experienced veterans in the market like myself who have been here for a little while, this is nothing. I mean, this doesn't bother me one bit. But for people who are a little newer, like Alex and many other people who are similar to Alex, who have been here maybe for like 6 months or a year and a half or whatever the case is, you're looking at today and you're starting to get PTSD from 2022, right? This is nothing like 2022. The market has bottomed. So this is nothing like 2022. 2022 was a shit-tacular year. So you gotta remove that PTSD somehow and focus on the present times. But hopefully we'll have a little bit of green in the market. We can get a little bit more excitement. Tomorrow people are a little bit more excited. It's funny, I'm sort of the inverse of that. This actually makes me excited because, when I look at a chart like, did I close it? Oh, I did. I closed it. When I look at a chart like Synapse, I identified on Twitter and I identified on here this golden zone, right? So let me see, 2-day chart. I identified this golden zone as a buy opportunity between 91 and 77 cents. And I'm identifying actually an area we could get all the way down maybe to 76 or 75 cents. Point is, I wanted an opportunity to buy back in these levels because my view on a longer term basis, on a higher time frame, is we're going to be going significantly higher, right? We're going to be going way up here. So I would love an opportunity for the market to give me buys in here. So I'm actually, my view is I'm not scared at all by the price action. I'm actually excited at the opportunity to get more in assets that I see appreciating significantly in value. That's my perspective, and that comes with time, being in this market for a long time. So, all right. I hope you found today's live stream to be informative. If you did, share it with at least one person. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you haven't, just to show support for the channel. I will be back here tomorrow. I'm hoping that it'll be a little earlier. Actually, I'm going to be live streaming a little earlier tomorrow, so keep an eye on that. That's why you have to click the bell icon when you go to YouTube. Okay. You have to click the bell icon, and then it gives you options on there, and you have to click something along the lines of all notifications. Then you will know when I go live. So until next time, spread awareness, carry the education forward. Take care, everyone.